Hey everybody, how you doing? Looks like we made it to another Wednesday. I hope you guys are having a great week. Let me go turn on my fan. Whoa, almost knocked down everything. Colette, thank you so much for the amazing super chat. That means so much to me. Happy Thanksgiving. That helps the channel so much. It really does. It enables me to keep going and to keep enthusiastic and know no matter how many people are here, it's going to be the place to be. It's not the quantity, but the quality that's important. Patty, how are you? Happy Thanksgiving to you. And thank you again, Colette, for the amazing super chat. That is so great, and I really appreciate you. So I'm so excited, and so that is so cool. So we are part three of Persephone in subway. Actually, she's in the subway tunnel, which is in between two stations, and so that's really interesting. Um, I'm going to be doing the series. Well, I have been doing the Persephone series probably, oh my God, probably since I was like maybe 22 is when I did my first Persephone. So she's been a theme most of my adult life. And but recently, I would say within the last 5 years, I've really done a lot of Persephones, and I really love exploring the story and how it parallels my life and others' life. It's sort of a universal thing. I think that's really wonderful. So, Mr. JC, how are you? Great to see you. Happy Thanksgiving, happy Turkey Day. So glad you're here, my friend. Mr. Steve Leahy, how's it going? Great to see you. Mr. Leahy just finished his Harley painting, and it is definitely one of the best paintings I've ever seen. And that goes from all time periods. So just hats off to you, sir. Really unbelievable. Um, so that deserves a congratulations and have an extra cheers for that one. So that is great. So Dwayne Marshall, how are you, my friend? San Luis de Obispo. So fantastic to see you. How's everything? The Wicked Master. I got two Wicked Masters here, Steve Leahy and Dwayne. So that is great. It's great to have all that information, the think tank, so to speak, which is really cool. I'm going to make sure she's in focus. Let me do that. Let's see. Now she looks like she's out of focus, so you can see that I kind of clouded over everything. And the reason why I did that was because she was looking very. When you work in transparency and portraits, it doesn't quite work because what happens is everything becomes very separate and kind of unrealistic. So what I need to do is to get a kind of a lighter flesh tone, and this was the flesh tone that I used. I believe it was this one right here. This is, nope, that's not it. Let me see if I can find it. It's Olive by the Lifeline series, and it really worked. Here we go. So this is olive gold, and what I did with the olive gold was I dusted over everything. So what it did is it darkened the lights, but also clouded the midtones and the darks, right? And by doing that, it gives the portrait a much more unified feel to it. And with that, we're able to come back in with the midtones and the darks. And then I came in with the white and orange mixture and kind of started pulling out the lights once again. And I do that several times in the painting because that's what gives the painting a unified feel. The feeling that, you know, her face and her complexion is all connected. Of course, some areas are more red, some areas are more yellow, blue, that, but if you have that kind of unification going down to her neck, it really makes a... Wow, honey, thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving. I appreciate you. That is so amazing. Thank you so much for your support and your friendship over the years. It really means a lot to me, and it helps this channel keep going. So I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for that, honey. It is really, really cool. And I think November could be the record month as far as, you know, super chats go. So we're well on our way there. And thank you again, honey, for your friendship and support. You are amazing. I love the artwork you're doing. And let's see, did I miss someone coming in here? Ryan, how's it going? How's life treating you, my friend? All the way from Canada, I believe. Yes. And then we have, who else? Ryan. I think that's it. Okay, cool. And like I say, it's not the quantity, but the quality. And we have some quality here tonight. That's for sure. Quality people. And I am just so excited to hang out with you tonight. Oh, great, Ryan. Glad to hear it. So, oh, no, thank you, honey. That's for sure. Thank you. So, everything's so cloudy. It kind of looks like I'm, you know, I'm losing my eyesight, but it actually is. I just clouded everything over. I also worked on the background a little bit, but I kind of kept mostly with the airbrush in the background because it has that bokeh where everything's in focus. She's in focus, everything's kind of out of focus. So the airbrush really lent it to that kind of soft focus. And I may come in with a little brush. Mr. Roy, how's it going, my friend? Great to see you all the way from Jersey. Mr. Roy and I are doing a really cool Jaguar using candies this week. So that's a lot of fun, exploring that. And, you know, I love working with my students. We basically do everything and kind of experiment together. So the candies are really great. So before I started, I went ahead and cleaned out my airbrushes thoroughly. And so what will we do now is maybe we could start coming in with the next light color would be kind of this kind of reddish color right in here, right? So let's see if we can make that happen. Now the thing is to make sure you clean these caps. I learned the hard way. One time I was painting and I had my orange mixture, orange and white mixture, and I was lightening things up, but I didn't realize I had blue from the previous painting in there, right over here, and it just drew everything aside. It was crazy. Mr. Brad, how's it going, sir? All the way from Manitoba, Canada. Great to see you. So glad you're here. So let's get a cup, and I'm really loving these Lifeline colors, in case you haven't noticed, right? So I am going to come over here. There's this one color that he has, Createx has, and it's not, where is it? Deep Blush. Look at this. This is really cool. So Deep Blush, we'll see what it is. And I think it's a really nice dark, but I think we can go even darker, you know? So that's really cool. So very, very cool. All right, so we have this color. It's not quite red enough, but so as you notice, I'm going back and forth with, sometimes I'm coming in with illustration, but I'm going to add the 4050 to it and turn that illustration paint, as Mr. Dwayne told me, and make it into a wicked paint, right, sir? And so why not make things wicked, you know? Nothing wrong with that. Mr. Rick, all the way from Canada, how's it going? How are you, my friend? So we're going to put my painting aside. And we are going to come here. We're going to put some of this really beautiful. It's a really deep dark, almost like a woman's makeup, you know, like my wife, ex-wife, and girlfriends, and women who kind of stop by. That's how I know about that stuff. Let's see, what color do we have? Here's Fair Blush. No, but we're gonna do. Let's see if we can stick with the Wicked line here. Or we can, let's add some burnt umber or burnt sienna, right? What do you say? Burnt sienna? That would be good. Do we have burnt sienna in the house? We have burnt umber. Red oxide, which is close, but no cigar. Not that I'm looking for a cigar. Okay, let's see. Burnt umber. Wicked red iron oxide. There we go, burnt sienna. See that, guys? We got some burnt sienna. And we're going to shake that up. And you're awesome, Rick. Great to see you. Shake it up really well. So new location in 2 weeks. Stay tuned. We're going to have a new location. I'm thinking of calling it the Wicked Den or something like that. Just give it some. So I would love, so here's something you guys could do. So I'm going to have a new location, and I want you guys to think of a name for it, you know, where I'm going to live stream. I think it would be fun, and I would love it if one of you guys came up with it, guys or girls. We're going to 4011 it. We all know what 4011 means. When we 4011, it's 1 to 1, right? So that's 4011ing it. So let's see what we got here. That's still not deep enough, right? So we are going to just think about this a little bit. Here's this Lifeline Espresso. We're going to try this. What do we got to lose? So that's going to darken it, right? It's going to darken it extensively, right? It's going to darken it. But we want to, that's actually really nice. And it has a nice redness. Now we're not going to use it for the blush on her cheeks, but I think we can use it for deepening up some of the values in the midtones. So let's see if we can make this happen. And then we'll decide to deepen it up afterwards. So let's see. Oh, we have to 40-50 it, right? So that's important. As Mr. Dwayne says. And let's see, here we go. So as we put 40-50 in it, it becomes Wicked. So that's cool. So there was a great video by Craig Frazier talking about the Wicked Opaque White. Have you guys seen that video? It's really cool. It's extremely cool. So I'm going to put this in here. It's a little thick, but I think that's okay. I'm at 90 PSI. No, I'd be shooting across the room. Definitely not 90 PSI. I'm still at like between 25 and 30. All right, so let's get a stencil here, because I don't want to paint her hair. I just want to paint her beautiful face. Let's see. I'm not painting any of the edges, so I don't got to worry about the borders, but I just don't want to overspray. Ryan says you put a hole through the picture at 90. Yeah, you really do? Holy cow. That'd be like, what are they, like, what, the pressure washing or something like that? What do they call that when you with the air? Okay, so we're going to test the color, and we'll test it right here. Ooh, that's nice. It's a nice, deep I think it would be a nice deep flesh tone and might make some nice texture effects here on my table. Okay, so what I want to do is just kind of deepen some of her flesh. Now, the further I'm away, the more gentle this color shift's going to become, right? So I'm going to really think, and let's see if we have a... Now I'm going to do something. I'm going to show you guys how important this is. I'll be right back. It's really good. I'll be right back. All right, so see, I have this right here, and this way I can see the exact kind of effect that the airbrush is having. How far is it coming up, right? How fast it's coming out. And that is the way to do it. So now I know what my application is going to be just by what I did before. And then right here, it is a little bit on the yellow side, but that's okay because I'm going to come back and adjust that. But what it's doing is deepening her skin tones, and it is kind of setting up for the lights, because if the mid-tones are in good shape, then the lights will be in a good shape. And that's why I darkened everything, and it forces me to get darker, right? Which is very important. Happy Thanksgiving, Brad. Thank you, sir. So I'm going to set up the darks by putting in this kind of glazing in this light color. Because when I do that, the light color is really going to start shining through. And that's what I learned by using the candies, is that when you do use some transparent colors underneath and you glaze other transparents on top, then you do get, what's really wild, is you do get this like real beautiful kind of translucency. And in certain ways that you look at it, especially when we're going to varnish the painting, it's going to show up. Those colors are actually going to show up. And I think that's wild. Again, I want to make sure I'm getting... So always do this, right? That's always going to let you know what kind of coverage is coming out of your airbrush. And having some yellows, some greens, some blues, and everything like that is really going to help with the translucency of your painting, right? So those are very important considerations. Now, if we look and see, now you can see that, yeah, there are some yellows in there, but the painting needed some yellows. It can't be just a monochromatic light and dark of flesh tones, because that's not the way the world works, the way light works. And so now we can definitely set up for some darker colors. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this color, which we had, and we're going to darken it up. And I think I want to darken it up. Now, what color do we want to darken this up with? So let's see. Do we do Detail Smoke Black? That's always a favorite of mine. And let's see. And we're going to need a little more warmth perhaps. So I'm just going to shake this up. Now this may look good and this may look horrible. And that looks pretty good. You know why? Because even though that's a gray, we can always glaze over that, right? So, but I want to add a little bit of warmth to it. And those are decisions you want to make, you know, is it lighter or darker, warmer or cooler? Is the hue correct? Does it have the right color? So I'm going to add a little bit of red, and let's see. We're going to go with our Wicked Orange. I like Wicked Orange. So I see like working in airbrush and in color is like painting in black and white, but juggling at the same time. Because, you know, you have to learn to juggle. You have to learn to go back and forth and everything like that. It kind of works fast, right? It's like fast and furious. And you can see it helps a little bit, but not enough. And we're going to add more orange. I went with Dree Drops this time. Okay, so now we have something really nice. It's interesting. It's a brownish color, but it has the flesh color in it. It has a flesh color in it. It also has orange in it. So I think we're gonna enjoy this. We're gonna 4011 it a little bit. Okay. Now I'm gonna go ahead and use my Omni Vega 1000, and I just cleaned this bad boy out, and let's just see what kind of coverage, what's this going to do. Now I did use all transparent, so we know it's going to be a transparent. Okay, so it's a nice kind of raw umbery kind of color, you know, which is so great. JC says right now she sort of looks like if she was in a steam room. Yes, because everything's so cloudy, right? Very cool. Yes, exactly. And then I'm going to bring her into focus. So great, a great analogy, my friend. Very good. And that's what you want. You kind of want to steam things up. I love that. And now we're going to use this color to actually start deepening some of those mid-tones, because we're not really hitting darks yet. We're still in the mid-tone realm. Now it's still going to be a little bit on the yellow side. And then we're going to come in with some pinks later. And there's nothing you can do to this painting that you can't fix. So no worries. And if I want to warm it up, I just glaze some warm. Remember, I'm going to be about 7 inches away because I really want a subtle mid-tone. I don't want it too hot and heavy. And I can always go over with a second coat to deepen the, I wouldn't say the opacity, but the intensity, because so the way that I would say that transparents work, they don't become opaque, but they become intense, and in their intensity they cover, but they can never be an opaque. So now I think we're getting some really nice, some nice, what's the word I'm looking for? Structure, but not quite there yet. Because this is not a deep color, right? So we're going to go a little bit deeper, a little bit darker. We're still going to be in our transparent realm, but we're just kind of arriving there, right? Mr. Patrick, how's it going? Great to see you. Cheese grits and NyQuil. How you doing, my friend? And what I may do is over here, I may come and calm down some of this. Let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. So look just how foggy everything is. And it's almost, if you think of like James McNeill Whistler, how his paintings look very foggy. And so, but we always can get clarity, right? So we're actually going to achieve clarity as we come into focus and more detailed, and also come into focus by getting the full dynamic range we're looking for. But so I did have it in the earliest stage, but I felt it was too separated, and I wanted to unify it. So that's when I kind of went ahead and kind of fogged everything up. I may even do that another time. That's just the technique, you know, and I do that with pastel, I do that with pencil. I will fog things up over and over again. Let's see, we'll just put this right here. There we go. So I want to separate, I want to bring her neck forward, her neck back and her face forward. So that's important to do that. And so I do like the way that's coming up. Let's kind of indicate her sternocleidomastoid a little bit. Hey Michael, how's it going, my friend? Great to see you. Happy Thanksgiving, sir. All the way from the Baltimore, Maryland area. And just bring that down. Now remember, we're not as dark as we're going to be, but we're building it up, right? And that's what we want to do. We want to build this up, you know? So very great group here. So cool to see everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm honored. Okay, so now, well, maybe we could work on the shadow, which is underneath the lower eyelid. Let's see how this goes. See how it's important to check the intensity before you get committed to working on your painting? Check and see what your airbrush is doing. Don't find out on your painting, right? Find out here. Make the adjustments, okay? So try and do that. That would be a big help. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back with the orange and white mixture and kind of chill this out a little bit because it's a little intense. So I want to work that out. So right here we have this reddish color, and then here, so this was, okay, so I'm going to clean this out, hopefully successfully, or, this is cool, I'll bring in airbrush number 3. Why not? Okay, we're going to put this one aside. So remember, this is a medium flesh color over here. This one was our dark. And then I'll get the Extreme Patriot Arrow. And I have these ones that I'm finishing up testing and sending out very shortly. So make sure I don't use that one. This is mine because you can tell it's all beat up. And these are the ones that are already tested and working beautifully and getting ready to ship out. As soon as I finish making those inks to give you guys, especially you, Michael, I'm making you a full set of my Airbrush India inks, and they're going to change your life. So I'm looking forward. So I don't want to send it until I have those inks. Okay, so now we're going to do our orange and white mixture. I do have it here, but I don't know if it congealed or anything like that. Let's see. JC says, oh, so JC says, but even when checking it, it misbehaves. Now, what is that? I think I missed something, JC. Is that your airbrush misbehaving? Because my airbrush misbehaves. So I have this orange-white mixture. And we want to use that. Oh, thanks, JC. The ink's raw. You did a great painting with the inks. It's so great. So thank you so much for using them. That was amazing. Okay, so we have this. Now let's see what it does. Oh, the airbrush. Yes, so true, JC. Oh, you're on vacation. How cool is that, my friend? All right, so now we have this white mixture. So you see we're going back and forth. And maybe I can zoom in just to show you how subtle this is. But I really hope that you try this technique where you just are constantly coming in with this orange and white mixture, right? And just sort of making this kind of pre-Raphaelite fine art approach. Now when I say pre-Raphaelite, I mean like the work of Dante Gabriel Rossetti, John Edward Millay, those guys, the first set of the pre-Raphaelite. There we go. And then we're going to come over on this side. And maybe we can lighten this up here ever so gently. See how I just very gently lightened that up? Just kind of calm down that chroma a little bit. And then right over here. Very subtle, very gentle. Okay, so you see, she's, as Mr. JC said, she still looks like she's in that steam room, right? But she's slowly coming into focus. And the good thing is I could focus what I want to focus on, you know? And that's really important. Gary, how's it going? Great to see you. Welcome, Gary. I know you from Mr. Leahy's live stream, so that is so cool. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving, sir. And it's an honor to see you here. So I know everybody knows Gary because Gary is a mainstay over at Mr. Leahy's live stream. And also I see you sometimes at Mr. McKay's live stream. So cool. And there are some times you might spill over to that. It's all good. We'll come back to it. And we're not splitting hairs. We're really interested in a unified skin tone with color shifts and value shifts. And just like the way it is in life, she's one person, so she's going to have a lot of different shifts, but still she's one person. So what's really cool about this is I could turn this off, bring this over here, and then I can come back with this kind of yellowish color, right? This yellowish color that we had. And of course we can come right here, we can make sure it's working. So I went over with a little too much white, so I can just see how I can just slowly even it out, right? It's working this back and forth, and I can do the side plane of her upper lateral cartilage here, and just very lightly hit the glabella, which is the indentation between the frontal bone and the nasal bone. And that has to be just a little bit darker. So I can get super subtle. And during this evening, on this live stream, you're going to see I'm going to concentrate on her face, right? And I'm just going to concentrate on bringing things more and more into focus. So having Dree airbrushes, I have a lot more liberties to work quicker. We're going to do the cast shadow that her nose is making onto her philtrum. And very cool, very cool. Okay. Again, just reestablishing the shadow underneath her eyelid, lower eyelid. See, you can see that nothing's happening. So that means I either have dry shift, tip dry. So now we're back. So remember, always check your airbrush here and then apply it, not find out the other way, okay? That helps me a lot, and hopefully it'll help you all. So I'm going to kind of get a little bit zealous there and say, oh no, it wasn't good. Yes, it was, because now I could just come over here, grab my other airbrush, and get some aerobic exercises in. Let's see what we have. So you see how I tested here to know what kind of spray I have, and then I'm just ever so lightly, I'm just going to calm down this area. Oh man, you see what just happened? I don't know why that happened, but thank God. So I did have a little bit of a blowout, and I'm not sure, it could have been moisture inside the airbrush, but that's okay. I was able to wipe it before. There we go. And then I'm going to calm this down. Okay. Again, it happened, so I'm not sure what's going on here. So the second time, it seemed like it kind of, I'm not sure what's happening. So I come over here. now let's, what's in here? This is that darker color. And let's see, Honey says, oh, so cool. Honey says, fancy meeting Gary here. That's cool. They know each other well. JC says, is she someone you know, Tim, or just a random pick? Now you are teaching us how to do steam room effect. Of course, everything gradually comes as it should. Looking awesome. Thank you so much. This is a combination of someone I know and imagination at the same time. So it's not a portrait. So it's funny when I start doing like, you know, like a mythological scene or something like that, I take a little more liberties because it's not a portrait of her, JC. So I may change things like give her higher cheekbones or something like that. And that's cool to do, you know. And oh, cool. So that's cool, Gary. So now she's looking a little bit on the yellow side, right? So we want to come in and sort of put some blush and maybe some redness here and stuff like that. That would be really cool. So I'm going to dump out this. So this is what I did. I took a gallon of milk and I put napkins in there, and every so often I go ahead and throw fresh napkins in there like this, and that kind of absorbs the paint when I dump it out. And we do use a lot of napkins, don't we? Airbrush men and women out there, and boys and girls, whoever is out there that's young. So my little student, she's 8 years old. I already have her airbrushing. She's doing amazing. This year she'll be doing oil paints, so very excited. And the thing is, just kind of don't think about how long it's taken. Don't worry about anything. Just, you know, engross yourself into the painting, right? Into the act of painting. And I think that would be great. So that's really clean, nice and clean. And then what I'm going to do is we have to clean that cap, right? That cap is going to be the death of you. Oh, that's right. Yes, so cool. So, yes, that was so cool. We have Mr. Leahy, Mr. McKay, and of course me, little old me. So it's great to be on the triple feature with these great painters, Steve Leahy and Scott McKay. It's an honor. And we're all painting with Wicked. How cool is that, right? Gary says, so are you in Philly? I'm not in Philly. If you're mentioning me, maybe Honey, I'm not sure. But I'm in Jersey, you know, all the way up 5 miles from New York City. Okay, cool. So here we go here. So what we want to do is we want to bring some nice red, right? So a fleshy red. So let's see. What can we do? Now remember, we can just take any of these Createx colors, add 4050 to it, and voila, it's super compatible. So doesn't that make you happy? Makes me happy. So I'm just going to look here and see what colors we have. Got burnt sienna. Where is that color? There was a lifeline color that was really interesting, and it was the color for the lips. Now I'm going to see if I can find it. Give me a few moments. It's nice when you have a lot of paints, but it's difficult when you're trying to find a color. So we have olive gold, espresso, wicked brown, think we're getting warmer, guys. Let's see. We'll take our time because we want to get the color we're looking for. Now, maybe it's over here. Let's see what we have here. So we have the olive gold. All right, let's see. Over here. Let me see. Anything over here? I might have put them back over here. Let's see. And this is where you want to take your time. If you can't find the color you're looking for, then we just relax and find that color. I know it doesn't make very compelling live stream, but we definitely want to find that color. Here we go. This is the color I was looking for, natural lip, right? And I really like it because I think it's really going to do really well into the blush, right? Yes, it's under or behind something. So true, JC. He knows the drill. And Gary Shee says, I thought I seen you're from Philly or Central PA near Hershey. You know, I do have friends who are from that area, by the Lancaster area. And that was cool. You know what I like, Gary? I stayed a little time in York, and I thought York was really, really nice. I thought the people were super sweet. And, you know, I like that color as it is. So let's 4011 it. So it did pay to just, you know, for me to relax and continue looking for it. I really like it. So I'm 4011ing it, and I'm going to put some 4050. So what are your guys' thoughts? Steve Leahy, Dwayne, what do you guys thought on the concept of just putting some 4050 in it and have it completely compatible with Wicked? What are your thoughts on that? Because that's important information from you guys. Oh, Central PA near Hershey. Yes, that's really nice. It's actually quite rural. I drove by there. Actually, the person I was with drove by there, and I was surprised on how beautiful and rural it is over there by Hershey. Okay, so I love this color. Super love this color. And we're going to put this in. And we're going to be super sparingly because it could be the color that ate Chicago. So we have to make sure that we don't overdo it. Okay, so now we're kind of doing glazes, you know. It is always in the last place you look, and sometimes it's right in front of me. So this one was actually, I think it was on the table or something. All right, my friends, here goes. And we're just adding little blush to her face. Now it's a little crazy. I think it's a lot, but we haven't hit the darks yet, so we're not going to fix anything just yet because we have to hit those darks. And this red is powerful, so it's going to really make it, according to Createx, it hasn't, according to Createx, it is and haven't had an issue yet. Thanks, Dwayne. I appreciate that, sir. More than you know. Your feedback is most welcome. So it's nice and red on her nose. So we got this beautiful pink there. We're going to put that there. And even more so. So it's like these light glazes, right? Exactly, Gary, exactly. The other day I was looking for my wallet, and I almost couldn't actually go on whatever I was trip because I couldn't find a wallet. And it was a black wallet on my black computer. And it was totally camouflaged, but I looked for it and passed it probably about 20 times. So now I know that I have to look for camouflage. You know what I mean? I gotta look for that. So really loving this red, putting some life into this portrait. Not so much red up in her forehead because there's no flesh there. There is the frontalis muscles over here, but they're very thin and it's mostly bone. So let's come over here. So with that kind of brown yellow we had, and then coming over it with this color, we're kind of arriving where we want to be. Again, check and see what kind of spray is happening, how it's coming out, right? Because a lot of times we can't see it. We might keep pushing back and back, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, what did I just do? So we definitely want to check what kind of spray is happening. But I'm really liking the way the glabella is happening, coming out now. And now we can glaze her neck. So what we're doing, we're taking a lighter transparent and we're going over, a darker transparent going over a lighter color. And here in her neck, there's a lot of gray here, so I don't want to, but there's some red here by her clavicle. So we want to make sure we have those color fields in there, there's red here, there's yellow there, there's green here. That's important for gaining that kind of real, realistic, not photorealistic, we're talking realistic, right? It's a little bit different, a little different aims. And see how that clavicle in here, we have much more red, more blood over here. And it's what we need to do. Right here, we'll put a little more red here. But this color, so I want you to look for this color. Actually, I really hope you go out and get the whole Lifeline set. It's Tim Gore's Bloodline, but it's a Lifeline set and it has natural lip. It's really cool. I don't really use it for the lips. I use it for the rest of the flesh, which is fantastic. Okay. Now we have some room to deepen the dark of her face, right? But before that, this is a little deep, but see how right here it's a little deep? But what we can do before we make the decision that we need to change it, let's first go a little bit darker, and then we can see where things, so now we're going darker and darker, right? And then we're just going to continue. So right now, I really am looking for a sepia, right? A nice sepia color. And I believe this color, this has our white mixture, so we'll leave that alone. But we have the sepia in that other painting, in that other picture. So let's see if we can make that happen. Okay. Come over here. So in the Vega 1000, I have a sepia color in already, but I think I want a little more of a richness, and I don't want to mix inside my cup, and I'm not on this any rant of not mixing on the cup. It's just I don't like, because I can't see it, right? I'm a control freak. Okay, so now I'm going to put some water in here, because even though the color I'm mixing is going to be pretty close, I still want to start fresh. Okay, so there we go. And of course, remember, clean this cap. I mean, it's just a really important habit I've gotten into since I got burned. So that's so important. Oh, thanks. So JC says he loves how I'm doing the look of her blouse. Thank you. Having fun with that, Now she's a goddess, so she's like timeless, right? So she could be walking in the subway with a a dress from the 1800s or 1700s, right? So kind of one of the reasons why I did that. And she's immortal, right? So she's not worried about getting mugged or hurt. You know, she could kill someone like that. So she would be someone walking in the subway or something, and no, and if anyone messed with her, it would probably be the last thing they did. But she looks really gentle and beautiful. So it's those, you know, see how it's those contradictions or contrasts that I love about the whole thing. Okay, so now what we're going to do is going to get another cup, and I got to get more cups. I went through about 100 of these already. Let's see. So right now I'm looking, and I think I'm going to start with raw umber. I like raw umber. Is it raw umber? Yes, so I have to look for raw umber. Just bear with me, my friends. Here it is, detail raw umber. It's a bit deeper, it's a bit richer, and let's see, put just a little bit. Now that's really dark, right? But that's what transparents are. They're intense when you begin them most of the time. So we have to 4011 it really quick. And this is a wicked. So I 4011 that. And I want to add a beautiful transparent. So why don't we try Wicked Red Oxide, right? Let's give that a shot. And that's going to give some life to this. I'm going to move this over. I'm going to do a 1-to-1, right? And now we're going to mix this up really good. And then we'll put the 4011, the comparable amount of 4011. And that's really strong. That iron oxide kicked the butt of that raw umber. So I'm going to add a little bit more raw umber. It's interesting how that happens. You know, you don't know what a color is going to do until it does it. So I would think that raw umber would be much more dominant, but nope, it really took a back seat to that iron oxide. Okay, so all right, so wow, Michael, thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. I really appreciate it. Thank you. That is so generous, my friend, and just so exciting. And it really makes me know that I'm doing the right thing, sir. I just want to say thank you. It's so great and very kind, and it really helps out. These super chats really go a long way to keeping me going, and knowing that, you know, I have my friends who I have to look forward to every Wednesday, and I don't say that word lightly. And I just want to say I appreciate you coming and hanging out, and you know, watching these live streams and getting to know you guys, and the great conversations and comments. So just thank you, Michael, for that. It really is heartwarming and special. And you know, I'm gonna have a system where when I put a color down, that I know where it'll be. So so here's the raw umber again. So it took me a while to find raw umber, Mike. That was crazy. And Mike, thank you so much for purchasing the Extreme Patriot Arrow. I just want to make sure that I get the free set of my Airbrush India inks, which you're going to love. It's just going to really, you're going to just be very happy with it. The control you get with my Extreme Patriot Arrow and the India inks are really a lot of fun. Really a lot of fun. So thank you for your patience on that. And right here you see we have this kind of really powerful color, right? It's, if you see it, like, it is a little bit on the brown side. So I'm gonna add a little bit more of that raw umber because I want it more neutral, and I think it got a little brown. Honey says, going to have to bow out gracefully, have to work tomorrow. Hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving. Honey, thank you so much for the super chat and hanging out on this Wednesday. I hope you and your family have an amazing Thanksgiving, and with lots of turkey and friends, and I hope work goes really fast. Will you be able to be home in time for turkey? I hope. Okay, so you see how the extra raw umber kind of killed that brown a little bit? Remember before it kind of was a hot brown? So that's cool. All right, so thanks, honey. I really appreciate you in the super chat and look forward to seeing you next week, and also on Steve's live stream and on Facebook and all that fun stuff. So, okay, so I have my Vega. Love this airbrush. I love the red on that. Isn't that cool? I just love this airbrush. It's really a lot of fun. And it's a really good airbrush to have. You know, it really is. It's a fun airbrush to have. I really love it. And you get that at usaairbrushsupply.com. And if you use the code TimothyPSA, you get 15% off your order. usaairbrushsupply.com, 15% you get off if you use Timothy PSA. So that's cool. Oh, before we do that, right? So need to practice what I'm preaching. Let's see what kind of spray. Oh, I love that color. Very similar to what we had earlier. So I kind of went back to where I was. Let's move this over. Okay, so we want to get a little more richness here, especially here in the corner of her eye socket. See that? And now it's still a little warm, but we can always cool that down with some straight sepia a little bit, right? And I know that you know, sepia is a wonderful color, and Dwayne loves the sepia. One of his favorite colors. And you see how it's a little hot, right? That's okay. We're going to come in. Now here I don't want to come in because I don't want to be hot here, because this is a very cool gray right here. Some cool grays around here. But we can look for some other hot shadows, like right here. And again, we're coming in with clarity. And you see how when we start coming in, even though we're doing a layer, we're going to slowly darken some of this cloudiness and kind of bring it back together, back into focus. And that's the goal. And then coming in with the paintbrush technique, we're really going to get into focus, right? Because everything is all, you know, soft values and everything. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for values and large shapes, and really not getting involved with detail just yet. I did get involved with detail, then I came back and softened it up. And that's how those layers is how we come in and finally get a very soft, unified, beautiful portrait, or at least try to. And now, see, it's very hot, but I'm going to come in with that burnt umber in a little bit. again, I'm going to refrain. So here with her cheeks, you know, there's a lot of blood and everything underneath, so there's a lot of red. But this is all going to be all close to bone with very little flesh, so I'm going to come in with more of a gray color, and that's going to help us. So very, very important. So JC says he calls the RU, oh, raw umber the chestnut color. Very cool. I like that. It is, right? That kind of really muted brown, right? That's very cool, JC. I like that. And it also reminds you what the color is, right? So that's a cool color. So definitely, that's great to hear. I like that. So here I want to increase the I want to increase the 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 chroma, the saturation. Okay, so now we're going to dump this. No, but we'll put it back into where it came from. Maybe we'll use it again one day. Okay, and we definitely want to get rid of this color because it has a lot of warmth in it, and we want something that's cool. So we're looking for something that's a cool color. So let's see. I'm just going to clean this out with, you know, in the old days I would just put some water through it and call it a day. But, you know, I've had some things happen in the past and I'm like, no, I'm not going to be lax. I'm going to make sure that I clean out the airbrush really well between the colors. Even if the colors are close, I think that's important. Okay, so let's put our young lady over here. And you know, it's really not big decisions. You know, the big decisions are in the beginning, and now it's all subtle shifts of color and trying to find that sweet spot, right? So let's go with, do we want raw umber? I mean, raw sienna. Raw sienna is a bit on the warm side. So I think I'm going to do something a little interesting here. Let's see. So we have the sepia. Let's see if I can find the sepia. Now let's look at Payne's Gray. Let's see what Payne's Gray does, because Payne's Gray is an interesting color. It has a lot of blue in it, right? So we're going to 4011 Payne's Gray quite a lot. And now what I'm going to do is get another bottle of 4011. Go. I love these little bottles, and I refill them. You know, they're great of the 4011. I like it because you got that big clunky bottle, and I don't like using it. So get one of these bottles and just refill them. It's great. Okay. So if I dilute this 2 to 1, and you might lose a little bit of the adhesion, so 40-50 would be really good. Maybe 10%. So this is a dark color, but if we dilute it, let's see what it does. It might be a little, it might not be what we want, but it's always good to check. Let's see. It's interesting because when I paint in oils, this color, I consider it a blue. And this is the experimental portion of our live stream. Let's see. Ooh, that's really nice. It is very blue, but I think on top of the flesh color, it might work for us. And we can just check in a small area, right? So it's no biggie. Notice I'm using a lot less shield at this point of the painting because it's more like just regular oil painting at this point, you know. Ryan says, Tim, do you strictly do portrait work? Actually, no. I'm actually doing a Jaguar this week, which is really cool. A little while earlier, I did a mango still life, and so yeah, I do a lot, you know, a lot of different, but I've been doing portraits since I was a youngin', and so that's pretty much my forte, you know. So I'm just gonna make sure I have. Okay, interesting. So you know what I did? That's always important to check because I had the wrong airbrush. So always check. This is another reason to always check before you spray your airbrush on your painting. Okay, let's see. So you see how it's a cool gray here? Now, you might say, well, that's too cool of a gray, but it's interacting with the warm color underneath and giving us exactly what we want. Because these are all transparents, and they kind of work right on top of one another. Overlays. Oh yeah, the mango, that was fun. Oh, cool. Maybe I'll do that one week. What do you guys think of one time me doing some different subject matter? You know, not doing a portrait. Would you guys want to continue seeing the portraits, or would you like to have me change it up a little bit now and then? This Payne's Gray is really working good. Or a razor blade. I couldn't do that. I'll leave that to the master, Mr. Steve Leahy. So this Payne's Gray, although it's too cool, since we're glazing over a warmer color, it's falling right into the thing. Yeah, definitely not razor blade, you know. I may do other subject matter, but maybe if I do another live stream during the week, I'm going to keep the Wednesday night pretty much what it is. People like to, like to have what they expect, you know. So I'm going to keep this. I may do a second live stream during the week and, start doing different subject matter like landscapes in airbrush and stuff like that. And now, she's still on the foggy side, but we're not worried. We're worried about the large color shifts and everything like that. Razor blade. That's pretty funny, guys. Yeah, that I could. I do work relatively small though. This head is about 4 inches, which in the airbrush world is pretty small, but definitely not to the way that Mr. Leahy does it, which is just out of this world. Amazing. Notice I'm going to put this Payne's Gray, and I'm going to create a little blue shift, neutral blue shift in her hair. And when you're working on hair, you got to realize that the whole painting is going to be, you're going to be working on that hair, her hair, for the whole painting. So I'll come in with different colors and play around with it. If I see things are too hot, I can come in with this Payne's Gray and kind of calm it down, and then the hair starts to feel more like it belongs to her, right? And sort of that whole thing of, of everything having, you know, cohesiveness. She's a person, and you know, she has, you know, there's a commonality to her skin tone and everything. So this is really giving it that kind of uh, 19th century kind of look, if I say so myself. And that's what I'm always after. So when you do that, the working with the transparent Payne's Gray, it really gives that feeling of those light transition tones that are like in her nose as it comes out with the upper lateral cartilage here. Same thing right here. Maybe, just maybe, you know, I made a stencil a while ago, and let's see if I still have it. This stencil is really cool because it had to do with the alar cartilage of her nose. Let's see if I still have it. Was it in this painting that I did that? You know, everything's a blur sometimes, guys. But what I can do with this Payne's Gray, now that I think of it, let's go ahead and darken some of, darken her lips and nostril. Kind of bring that back. Now we have to find it. This is scary. Let's see. You know, because when you are painting throughout the picture, yep, at this point I've done too much where I can no longer use that in good faith. So much for that. Then it gets more freehand. So, but we can use this this right here, and what I want to do is just ever so slightly. Now that was way too strong, like really too strong. No worries, that's part of the process. So you're not worried about making a mistake like this. And what we're going to do is we're just going to assess it, right? You don't want to go too crazy. So what I'm going to do is see if I could soften it while it's still wet. Maybe, maybe not. And it's, like I said, it's not the end of the world, and it does erase a little bit, but what I'm going to do, this is a job for the orange and white mixture. And where was that? Okay, that was the other airbrush. And I've had my orange and white mixture. And this is going to happen when you are going full force towards your painting, right? You want to go towards the success, right? You don't want to be tentative. You want to be able to make a mistake. And because when you make a mistake, you're pushing yourself to the limit, right? You're pushing your paint to the limit. And that's important, you know? Oh, JC says he's good with me just doing portraits, but like Ryan said, it would be cool to see you doing something else. Either way would be nice. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. So you see, I'm just remixing my orange mixture. So I know it's scary when we make mistakes, right? Especially, you know, maybe like 60% into the painting like I am now, maybe 70%. And you're like, oh my God. But I really think it's okay, because there's nothing you can't fix. And even if you couldn't fix it, you learned a lot from it. All right, so Let's see. Okay, so you see, we're starting to soften it up ever so lightly. Make sure I have enough paint in here. Okay. And I just want to soften this edge up here. I kind of went a little crazy with. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to come in with that original flesh color and see if we could kind of right our wrong. Okay, so now we are going to see if I can pull out this kind of fleshy color. And this was that rose color, so that's really not the color we're looking for. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump this, and we're going to come in with that really nice color that was on the bloodline, which was the olive. And I think that would be okay, and then we could revisit that that gray color. So it's funny, with Airbrush, you have these scary moments, right? But it's okay, because if you're growing, you're going to have these scary moments. If you're pushing it, you're going to have the scary moments. Oh, Ryan, have a great night, my friend. Always a pleasure. And I know you're Canadian, but happy Thanksgiving. And have some turkey on us. So I'm going to clean out my airbrush really well. And thank you, Ryan. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Okay, so the color that I used was this olive gold. We'll see what it does. Now it may not be the right color. It may work perfectly. We might be happy. We might be sad. But it's nothing we can't correct. Okay. Here goes nothing. All right. So we're starting to get there. I'm far away because I want to dust it, right? So I don't want to create any blotchiness. I just want to dust this area. Create a unity here that I kind of lost with that. And you know what's really great? That while doing this, and I had that little bit of blue shift, I'm actually getting that value that I was looking for. So that worked out. Thank you, God. And again, you always want to make sure what kind of paint delivery you're getting. And it's perfect because I'm getting that orange, that greenish color. It kind of just fell into place for me. There we go. So that actually worked out. Now, of course, we want to come back in and bring in that red again. But that was a little scary, right? A little scary, guys, but we made it through, right? So it's good that we saw that little bit of a scariness there. I'm just going to put the big TV on. I want to see what it looks like if I have to change anything on the picture. But, yeah, that was a little bit of scary moment. So we did lose a little bit of the clarity here, so I'm going to come back in there. But I'm going to be very, very much more ginger with that. Because that was like really hard edge, wasn't it, guys? Okay, so we have a nice smokiness, okay? So that's not bad, okay? I don't think that's bad at all. So let's see, we got to go back to our Payne's Gray. So that was a little bit scary. What do you guys think of that one, huh? Let me go get our Payne's Gray again. I didn't panic. I weeped, but I didn't panic. Thanks, JC. JC said great job on that one. I appreciate you. Let's see, is this our color? Yes. So, now what I'm going to do, I want to kind of separate just a little bit her nose. See how I'm kind of separating that nose just a tad? Just a little bit. Very tricky area. And then we'll come in here with the shadow plane, or the cast shadow, underneath her nose. And a little bit of a deep shadow on an alar cartilage. And then right here. And then we have this kind of gray right here. Now everything looks very cloudy because I haven't come in with any paintbrush techniques. I haven't really hit any of those, you know, the really defining lines yet. So everything is still just concentrating on the large shapes. So I can come here, let me see what's in here. This is our white mixture. I'm going to come in with that flesh color over here again. 3 airbrushes going, right? Talk about juggling. I don't usually work with 3 airbrushes. Let's see. Here's our fleshy color. And right here, it's a little weird. So I'm just going to bring some of this flesh color. Notice I'm not afraid to go into the dark of the hair. You see the blue shift I get here? Like just like that. I'm not afraid of that. Don't ever be afraid of blue shifting onto the darkest darks, because you go over with a dark color, it's like it was never there anyway. Where you want to worry about the blue shift is definitely in this area, right? That's where we kind of get a little bit worried. But we don't want to take it, we don't want it to get in the way of our progress. So that's what it is. You know, if you want to go ahead and try it, what I really suggest is have a secondary painting where you can test it on your small painting and make the mistake there, as opposed to on your, you know, your beautiful project that you're working on, right? So we got to kind of do the best of both worlds here. Now I want to bring some of this kind of neutral color down here. See what kind of. So here's the Depressa Anguli Oris. So I'm just bringing that down just a little bit right there. And JC says there's a reason why I pencil draw instead. Well, no, you do some great, so you pencil draw first, right? That's really great. Oh, you don't need to pencil draw. I mean, you're a great airbrush artist. Love your work, JC. While I'm here, I'm just going to do a little definition on the hair here. And then we can bring this darker transparent. And remember, see how I just got rid of any of the overspray onto the black? No problem. Lightly dusting her eyebrows. See, I don't mind going over and painting it again if I'm going to create much more of a painterly feel. I don't mind that. I'm loving her expression. Little detail action here. There we go. Kind of bring her out of the fog, right, JC? Make sure there's no tip dry. And we want to make sure the flow is perfect. We don't want to blow out. See how I'm coming in with her pupil here a little bit. A little bit of definition on her nostril there. And then we have this fold of her upper eyelid here. And you know, the airbrush gets finicky. There could be something getting into the nozzle or something like that. That's all natural. Happens. You just want to be aware of it before it makes your painting much more difficult. Okay. All right, so now maybe we could go ahead and work on some definition in her lips, or maybe some paintbrush action. Let's see if we can do that together. I think some paintbrush action wouldn't be too bad. So I'm going to take some of that mixture that I had, the Payne's Gray mixture. And let's see if we can just get some definition here. and kind of bringing her out of that fog. But we don't want to do it to the point where we lose kind of those soft passages that we want. We want soft and sharp passages together. Now we still have to come in with her lips, because we did have definition on the lips earlier in the day before I started, but I really wanted to get that unity. So it's important to push it. You know, I could have just said, you know what, that's good enough, everybody would have liked it, but I want to take it to the next level, and that's important to me. And I know it's important to you all as well with your work. And let's see. And JC says the cleaning at the end is the worst part for him. Yes, kind of making everything clean, right? And Brad says scary can be a good learning opportunity. Definitely. If you're not a little bit scared, you're playing it safe, you know? And only if I just don't feel like cleaning the brushes. That's funny. And JC says, why the inks are so much easier to use, no tip dry. Yeah, no tip dry is really a big thing. And so yeah, so the inks definitely are great to, you know, great for, you know, learning about value and stuff, or if you just want to work in black and white. And also just I get myself in shape when I work with the India inks. It's kind of like going to the airbrush gym. Right here. Bring this down just a tad. I want to go a little bit darker. And as I go like a little darker here in the eyes, then that could translate into other areas, bringing that darker as well. And let's go into her eyebrows a little bit. Oh wow, it's 11:10 already. Wow, this night really went fast, didn't it, everybody? Trying to, you know, to get the essence of who you're painting, whether it's in your head or from life or a combination of the two, you really have to let it evolve. Don't try and get it. If you try and get the likeness too early, it could send you down the wrong path. Now I'm going to come back in and with a flesh color and get the in-between parts of the eyebrows, you know, the eyebrow hairs. Yeah, so true, Michael. Only way, you know, is to really kind of make ourselves uncomfortable in the painting thing. Uh, do things that you're not sure of, you know? It's like, how am I going to do that? I went into oil painting for the first time in like 30 years, and I'm so glad I did. But it was pushing my abilities to the limit. There we go. And there's some beautiful dark eyelashes here. And I'm going to soften it up later, but we'll just establish it right now. And right here we can establish her nostril a little bit more. Kind of make sure I don't get too chintzy in the shape. There we go, and let's see if we can come down. It sort of went out of focus on me. There we go. Okay, so let's see if we could kind of work on the part in between her lips here. Oh, thank you. So JC says that I'm great at capturing the essence. I appreciate that. That's a wonderful, wonderful compliment. Thank you, sir. That's one of my aims, you know, to really capture the subtlety of that person. I feel like I know the person after I paint them a little bit more than, or a lot more than before I painted them. Okay. Now right here we have to intensify this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep this kind of blown up look here. I'm going to clean off my brushes. When you're working with Wicked paint in your brushes, make sure you clean it immediately because it will beat up your paintbrush. Alright, so let's see. So we're going to take this and just going to put that there. Now, which one was the Payne's Gray? Do I still have the Payne's Gray? Let's see. Yep, here I think this is it. Yep, I still have the Payne's Gray. And what I'm going to do, I want to do the impression or depression of Ubicularis oris. See how I kind of made that a little bit more pronounced? And then soft as we come over here. And then a little bit of this kind of gray right there on her chin. Right over here. And let's see if we could kind of get this gray over here. And alright, and so we have the depressor anguli oris right there. See how I had that. Wow, Dwayne, thank you, my friend, for the super chat. I really appreciate you, sir. Thank you, and thank you for hanging out with me on Thanksgiving Eve. I'm sure you had a lot of stuff to do, and it means a lot that you hung out with us and shared your knowledge, as always. And, you know, and your support is so appreciative, Dwayne. So appreciated. I appreciate you, and, you know, just thank you so much, and, you know, giving me the encouragement to keep going. Because sometimes it gets hard, you know, but your guys and girls' encouragement really makes a difference. It really does. I can't express that enough. So you can see how I'm coming over here, and thank you so much, Dwayne. That is amazing. You've been busy with much stuff this evening. Sorry I haven't been in the chat more. Oh, no, you got a lot to go in, that's for sure. So definitely, Dwayne, thank you so much for being here. And, you know, especially when you got things going, right? So thank you even more. So much appreciated, sir. So I'm coming in with that Payne's Gray and doing the under part of her eye and the orbicularis, the retrorbicularis oculi fat pad right there, right here. And let's see if we can deepen the cast shadow just a little bit. And let's bring this Payne's Gray kind of darken certain areas, like right here by the eye socket, right there in the corner of the eye, right? And soften up where I just did the crease of the upper eyelid, right? And come over here and just darken the cast shadow of her nose just a tad. And let's see where else we can kind of add this neutral color of the Payne's Gray. Okay, so now we can actually come over to the neck and see if we can add that Payne's Gray anywhere. Right here, where the tracheal area. Just deepen that up right there a little bit. And just kind of do a dusting just to kind of loosen that up. And maybe I'll come back with that. I don't know. I'm not too happy with what just happened there. But that's the whole thing, you know, we can test it out. We can push ourselves. And maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but you tried. You tried to take your painting to the highest level. Colette says, Tim, when you just put that in, how far is your airbrush? Oh, probably about 4 or 5 inches away. Definitely. Now, when I was doing the cast shadow of the nose, then the alar cartilage, then I was much closer. Great question, Colette. Distance is so key, right? It just really is. Really is very key. So right here, let's see if I could just harden this up a little bit. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. And, oh, right here, let's see if we can kind of use this Payne Gray a little bit in some of the shadows in her blouse. Now, looking over here, let's see. Maybe I can deepen this up a little bit. JC says, I lost detail paint. Oh, you lost your detail paint brushes, so I went and bought the Winsor & Newton brushes and ended up buying the Teclon Artist Soft Loft at Michael's. What brand was the black brush you were using a little while ago? That was an oil painting brush, and so this one was a Langnickel, and it's a Royal Sable #1. It's a great brush. I think I have another one here. I think this one is a little bit smaller. This is a #2, and so this is a red sable as well. You don't need the red sables. They're kind of expensive, so I would stick with this brand here. When you go to the store, the Winsor & Newton Cotman, and they have all different details, I think you'll love them. They have a set. I'm going to see if I could get that link for you right now. Let's see. Let's see. I'm going to go very quickly to Amazon, and I'm going to look that up for you. And I think Dwayne bought them, and he liked them a lot. So that was cool. And let's see. So I'm going to go with Cotman paint brush set. And let's see. Oh yeah, here they are. You're gonna love these, and they're really inexpensive. Uh, let's see if I can find that set again. And they're good quality. The thing is, you just have to clean them really fast because they don't stand up too well to getting beat up. You know what I mean? Uh, let's see. Winsor & Newton. Oh, this is a nice set here. Okay, I'm going to get you the link. And let's see. Here is the text link. Copy. And I'm going to go back to the live stream. And it's going to be in the chat. You're going to see that link. And that is really good. So, so definitely check that out. Oh, Dwayne only uses the smallest one in the set. Cool, cool. And so, yeah, so it's good, you know, and you'll be surprised. Down the line, you may come up with, like, some background or something when you're working bigger, Dwayne. But what I really love about that set is that you have a large variety. You can even use, like, the larger one and kind of use it like a chisel, Dwayne, which is really good. So I think they're not as good as the pure Winsor & Newton, but they're the step below the regular Winsor & Newton, and you have the Winsor & Newton Cotman brand. And they do the job. You just have to clean them really quick, you know? And so that's cool. All right, and let's see. So let's look at this portrait again. Zoom in. Okay. Now we're going to come back in with our, I want to kind of darken up this area here. See how I'm coming in with the Payne's Gray and kind of doing the shadow of the lower eyelid. Oh, for hairlines, very cool. Yeah, you know, there are some things the paintbrush can do better than the airbrush, and it's important to have a good quality airbrush, you know, and I feel the Cotmans are really that, and it's not expensive because you only use them part of the time, right? You're not using it all the time. And here it's a little bit darker. This airbrush is acting a little temperamental, might be tip dry, might be a little bit something in the nozzle. I'm going to blow it out. I did hear something kind of come out there. Let's see. Yeah, see, much better. Much better. Okay, so now, okay, a little bit of a darkness right here. Okay, so now we have the white mixture, and let's see if we can kind of bring some light color. I know I was going to say we're going to run out of time for the paintbrush, I mean the clips, so let's go and see if we can come back in with the white. And put this over here. And this is what, you know, when I'm working on a fine art piece like this, there's such a lot of back and forth, everybody. Such a lot of back and forth. Just going to test and test down here. See what this is doing to the flesh colors. Softening this up here. And what the white does, it lightens areas, but what it also does is unifies the values as well. And let's see if I missed anything. And JC says he loves those brushes but got the Teclon instead and they were on sale. Oh, cool. So how are the Teclon? Are they good? I hope they are. Let me know what you think of them. And Dwayne says, I used it for about 5 minutes. Wow. And JC says, they're great to work with. JC says, great feet. Have a good night. Have a great Thanksgiving, JC. I appreciate you so much. To you and your family, happy Thanksgiving and thanks for hanging out. And always enjoy your company, sir. And again, I'm just kind of unifying these values, right? Kind of bringing it together. So that's cool. So we're at 11:29. So that is cool. I'm going to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody before it hits 11:30. So as you can see, we are basically worrying about just creating a painting that has an oil painting look to it. And Dwayne, happy Thanksgiving. Brad, happy Thanksgiving. JC, always a pleasure. So I really appreciate you. And let's see who else is here still. But I want to give a special thanks to Dwayne for the super chat. Special thanks to Michael. So cool. I appreciate that so much. Honey, thank you so much for your super chat. And Colette, I really, really want to thank you guys for making this a wonderful Thanksgiving Eve. So only one more live stream from this location. Oh my God. So that's incredible. So it's 11:30. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Once again, thank you so much for your great comments and hanging out with me and just spending the time. And I hope you all have a great holiday weekend with your friends, family, and loved ones, and great food. Take care, everybody.